What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Motivational Wills. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Deep in the Trap. We back with another episode, and this time we got GREG and NOELS, the owners of Car Toys and Auto Evolutions. These guys were once competitors, and they became partners to bring together 50 years of experience to take over this industry, and they're gonna show you guys how to do the same. Let's welcome GREG and NOELS to the trap, y'all. Okay, y'all, we got GREG and NOELS, the owners of Car Toys and Auto Evolution. How y'all doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
This NOELS.
How you doing?
And this is my man, GREG. First of all, again, we want to thank y'all for y'all time, because, again, especially with a business of this magnitude, y'all could be doing a million other things. So first of all, let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit about where you come from, a little bit about, childhood, and a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay, I'm from the Warren area, born and raised here. Spent all my life here, and had multitude of businesses around the area. And then this is where I landed at right now.
Any college or any degrees or?
No college, no degrees.
No degrees. So, So let's take a step back then. So what got you into venturing off into business, and what inspired you to get on the journey that you become? Before we even get here, let's talk about maybe some of the first things that you ventured off into.
I wasn't very good with books or school. I didn't like it. I just wanted to break free and get it making money, and left school and went and worked at a lumber yard, and from the lumber yard went and built houses, and then started my own kind of business not long after that in food, and that rolled for years, and then got into cell phones. So I had a bar, and then this happened about 14 or 15 years ago now.
So, okay. In your beginning stages, what was like some of the things that maybe that you learned? Like maybe say, let's start from the lumber yard. Let's say, what was some of those things that you learned in a lumber yard that, maybe had inspired you or motivated you to keep going?
They were real picky about how the lumber had to stack, how it had to be, and they would come around with their ticket. Back some years ago, they come around with their ticket and you load their car. So I would meet all kinds of people, and all these people were in business because they're in construction, and just talking to them, and that's really how I excelled, was talking to people and picking their brains and seeing how other people do things and how they talked and presented themselves, and kind of learned off that.
So would you say you started learning about structure at a young age, huh?
Yeah, 18. I was 18.
Okay. So at around that age, most teenagers would say going into adulthood would be more focused on, let's say, partying or whatnot, or hanging out with their friends, per se. Like, what separated you, or where did the discipline come from for you to keep you on the straight and narrow path?
Wanting to succeed, wanting, when I seen everybody with their fancy trucks or their fancy, I wanted that, it was drive, it was, I want that, I want that nice car, I want those nice clothes, I want that nice house one day, but don't don't get it wrong, I partied too, you know,
for sure.
and it wasn't till I separated myself from that, you know, some years later that, you know, you really excel, you know, because when I was younger, I worked hard just to party, you know.
See, and the audience that we got, our audience is pretty much like a semi-younger group between like 25 and 35 is the majority of the people that watch our channel, and this is stuff that they need to hear because we don't want them to think that you got to be perfect or you start on a perfect journey or you had to be a straight A student in school or like, so this is stuff that they need to see because this is why most people don't even get started on the journey is because it's like, oh, they let their past hold them back, I should say. And just like with me, like they know, like I come from the streets, you know what I mean? You know that, like I come from the streets and sometimes you gotta let that fuel you to motivate you to become better. You know what I mean? So what were some of the things that you, like, not no specifics, but like what were some of the things that maybe like during the partying years, you like, you know what, nah, this ain't for me. Like what were some of those things just so?
There was some fighting for sure in the bars, you know, a lot of fighting. And at one point I quit drinking and that's when I really seen, you know, because I'd still go, I owned a bar, you know, and I quit drinking in the middle of owning that bar.
Well, that's a lot of discipline.
And then now I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh my God, I acted like that. You know, I was like that. You know, I made them bad decisions. I had to apologize to the 15 people the next day for stupid decisions. And that's when, you know, I took a long step back there and focused on, you know, raising a family and you know, and that's just when, boom, I excelled. I was already doing good, but then, you know, putting that, you know, I'm not saying you can't have fun, you know, but I'm saying you can't have fun all the time, and I was having fun all the time.
Pretty much what he's saying is like you gotta have discipline, but also you gotta know when and where to separate that. You know, it's gonna come a time in life, and for most people, you know, you gotta experience stuff, you gotta go through stuff. It might not be partying, it might be something different for you guys, but also, like I said, you gotta go through stuff so you could experience different things in life, so you know you can know what you want to do and what not to do, and you know what I mean. So, all right, so let's go a little bit further. You said, was it the cell phones after the lumberyard?
Lumberyard, concession stand, food business, and then into the cellular and a bar. I had a bar at the same time as a cellular.
Okay, so was the food was after the lumberyard then?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did you transition from the lumberyard to the food industry?
A friend of mine who was in my grade, his brother was older, and he had a food business already. And older guy, he didn't budget his money. And I had some money saved up, not a lot, but I had enough to start. It was a seasonal concession stand, so I had enough to buy the first order. And he says, hey, if you use all your money and buy this, I'll give you 40% of this business. That was all the money I had. It might have been $3,000 or something. You know, I was young. I was still probably just 20. And I had this money saved up and I was nervous, but I did it. And I think I had my money back by the second weekend and into profit by the third, you know, and it ran good for a lot of years.
So let's talk about that. What he just said is he took his last.
Yeah.
That's big. His last, because people not doing that.
Right.
If it's their last, they trying to penny pinch it, and you know what I mean? So like where is this mindset coming from? Like, because like not only is you spending your last, you taking a risk now. Like we talking about taking a risk. And then, like, did you know anything about this business or this guy, or was like?
Yeah, I helped him because he was my best friend's brother. So I did work there before and did help him and seen that, you know, I don't know how much he made, but I had a feeling he had to make money.
Right.
You know? So I guess there's a little comfort there.
Right. Took a little bit of the risk away.
Yeah, a little bit, you know, but still, you know, handing over
your last,
all your money to, you know, to somebody and not knowing, you know, it was a risk. So back then it was a huge risk, you know, but, you know, nowadays it wouldn't be as much of a risk doing something like that, but I guess that comes with doing as you do think, you know, doing something like on this level obviously takes a little more than a $3,000 investment in food, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, once you put some risks behind you, it's easier to take some new risks.
Right. Especially once you start taking a little risk, it's easier for you to take a big risk. So is we working with mentors? Like who is we like when you made that decision right there? Like, did you talk to anybody about it, or did you think, like, how long did it take for you to, like, all right, okay, I'm in?
I probably paused on it because this was over the winter time. It was a seasonal summer business,
Right.
you know. So believe me, I churned about it, you know, and probably held on to my money as long as I could till it was, you know, you're in or out. Let's go. It's
Right,
this
right,
weekend,
right.
you know. And, because I probably was nervous about it, but I met good people in my life along my journeys, and just got blessed with that. And I guess I was blessed that way, you know. That was a huge blessing to meet people that know how to do things already, and how to form a business and succeed in business, and was kind of big.
So I see why like looking around at the shop here, like I see why you where you at, or where you guys is where you are, with like, because like I said, this didn't happen overnight. Like, it took some trials and tribulations. Let's talk about some of the challenges, like, around before we get in here. Let's talk about some of the challenges maybe you faced, you know, making those smaller investments back in them days. Or losses maybe.
Yeah,
or,
no, I started another kitchen not long after that, and totally failed and busted, you know. And that feeling, you know, failure is a hard feeling, you know, but without failure, you don't succeed sometimes. You know, if I never would have learned what a failure was like, you never know what succeeding it feels like either, you know. So I've been both ways, you know. I've been, that business was seasonal, so there was some winters that I didn't have, you know, much money, and, you know, and stuff, and even though I was making great money doing that in the summer, I was young, I blew it all. And winter come and I didn't have, so then I had to learn, you know, how to make money over the winter time too, to supplement, you know, for that. And so there were some things, you know. I was detailing cars, you know, for a guy, and that's how I kind of started learning about the car business. And also snow plowing, I got into that the off season, you know, and those things helped me. But any trials, I guess, would have just, you know, life is one big trial, and it's a roller coaster, and sometimes you're here and sometimes you're here. But as long as you don't get down when you're down here, and could just, you know, look forward to what might happen tomorrow, you'll push through.
Hope y'all taking notes. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you can get notified anytime we drop a interview. Also, that helps us keep bringing on entrepreneurs like NOELS and GREG. Also, this is a bonus. Make sure you stay to the end if you also want to know how these guys was once competitors and came together to dominate this market. Let's get back to the interview. So now we talking about failure, which, like I said, I feel like failure should be like a big part of the process of getting started, because, again, that's another, like we talked about, people's past holding them back. So now failure, because most people don't want to fail. They don't want to make that mistake. You know what I mean? They don't want to be wrong, or they don't want to be, let's just say, you don't want NOELS to look at you because you know what I mean? So I feel like even with me, it took me a long time to get out the streets, because I didn't want to fail. I did what you just said, risk that last, whatever I had saved up at the moment. I didn't want to make those risks. And that was a sacrifice too. We ain't talking about that, but so I didn't want to take the risk. I didn't want to make the sacrifice, and I didn't want to fail. You know what I mean? So again, I feel like I probably could have been a lot further myself if failure wasn't a big part of stopping me from moving ahead, from getting ahead. Excuse me. So again, that's key. So don't be scared to fail, because it's gonna happen, and it has to happen. It's unavoidable. Like, it ain't no way around it, and it shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. Actually, when you fail, you should be happy about it, because now you just learned from, especially if you paying attention to it, you learned from that mistake or that failure, or what to do and how to push forward. So, all right, let's talk about the cellular. How did you get into that?
It was Revel Wireless. Remember Revel?
Yep. 330.
330. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was up here in Niles. Right here was the first store. It was right over here.
Wow, this is crazy.
And I just went down. I was in between doing stuff at the moment. Didn't have much going on, and I was like, man, that's gonna make money. Unlimited for set amount. You know, you used to have to get minutes prior to Revel. Remember, you get minutes. So yeah. I was like, this is gonna work. I'm gonna go down and see if they need some help. You know, and so the guy was from Cleveland. He hired me. It wasn't but 2 weeks. I was managing the store, and I think that's more because he didn't want to drive down from Cleveland every day.
Right.
But at any rate, you know, obviously I had something because he still gave me that position and trusted me. And then it wasn't much longer. You know, they were opening stores. We want you to be the master dealer. We want stores here. We want you to, and so now, you know, this was 14 stores. You know, Cleveland, Youngstown Market, and then there was an opportunity for me to buy in. So that's when I bought in to their company as a franchisee. And, you know, it went good for years, but then Revel went out of business. So, you know, down here again, you know, and just pushed forward through it, you know. It made some money along the way. You know, towards the end, yeah, of course, we lost a few dollars. We sacrificed some stores, you know, owed on some leases. You know, it just, you can't predict when another company that you do business for is going to go out. You know, like, there's no warning on that, you know. And so, yeah, we had to tell a lot of people, hey, you know, you lost your job, unfortunately. You know, we're closing this location. Landlords got handed back keys, you know, and then you push forward and you look up and what could I do next?
It probably would have been different if you was a solo owner, right? Versus to you buying into a company. So now we got to go through more paperwork, and then, like, so or that don't make, okay.
No, that really wasn't, you know, the more thing was the exit, and,
okay.
You know, as we did get somewhat of a warning. It was maybe a 3-month or 4-month warning. It wasn't long. You know, they don't want to tell you that, because then you'd just be doing crooked, you know, everybody be doing crooked stuff. So nobody tells you when your last day really is, you know.
Okay,
so, but we did start shutting down the slower locations, kept open the good locations, and, you know, the ones that produced the most up until the last days. And then we just shut those off, and I don't know. I mean, I guess there really wasn't a strategy at that, because, you know, that's a strategy you don't want to get good at.
We say you don't want to get good at running out of business, huh? Or going out of business,
right?
Huh?
You know, yeah, that's a strategy you don't probably want to be good at. So right. I guess there wasn't a strategy to that. More is just the rebound.
Got you.
You know,
I got you. All right, so now, okay, let's get into some fun stuff. How did you get into? So, because listen, we went from lumberyard, we went from food industry, we went from the cell phone industry. Like, we ain't say nothing about a car in neither one of these industries. How did we get into this? Like before we even get to auto evolution, like, how did you start messing around with cars?
Well, when I was younger, really before even those food stands, 14, 15 years old, my neighbor owned a detail tint car lot. You know, he did detailing tint car lot, and I worked for him. You know, and that's where I kind of got that little bit of education. You know, I seen the tinters. I can't tint, you know, not one bit. But I seen the tinters. I knew how to sell the tint. I knew how to sell the jobs for the detailing. I knew how to buy and sell some cars from watching, going to the auctions, things like that. Meeting people, you know, that's a big networking is one of the biggest, you know, things, because then you got contacts. You got, oh, I know a guy that, I know a guy, and that helps. So always, don't be shy to talk to people. So never know who you're going to meet and how that could help you. And that's really probably been my biggest, just being outgoing and You know, asking some of these people the same question, how, you know, that you're asking, you know,
Right.
and you know, learning from along the way and just making mistakes. But that's how I had the car background. So when the cellular was shutting down, I actually wanted to open a pawn shop. That was I wanted to do a pawn shop.
Right.
You know, kick back, people bring you stuff, you buy it for nothing, you sell it for more. You know, a gentleman said, hey, I don't got nothing for rent right now, but I have this bit shop and you should do this. And he was referring to the old Phase 2 building. And so I rented it and it went nothing how I thought it was going to go. You know, it was hard. It was a struggle. I didn't know the electronic side of it. You know, I knew detail tint, cars, you know, things, but I didn't know it takes so many moving parts to make something like this happen. And so, yeah, I struggled with that when I was down the street there, you know, the first 4 or 5 years, I think I was down there, you know, and, but I still, you know, kept it out of the red, you know, but just, it wasn't very fruitful. It was, you know, like this, you know, the roller coaster, you know, and, but then as I got better at it, it came easier, it came more natural. And when I moved out of there up to the top of the hill in Niles, and then things really got good. Some of that was holding me back down there, you know, some of the customers don't want to go. You know, at that time we were in a bad, and we still are, but it was a little bit worse back then, our epidemic we were in. And it just, that area was just a little bit, you know, but once I moved out of there, you know, it jumped a little bit more. So location, what I'm getting at with that is the location is a very important.
I was just about to, you took the rare opposite.
Yeah,
so,
that's key, you know, that's really key. The location is key. Easy pull in, easy pull out, you know.
That's what the client wants. Love.
Yeah, you want a parking lot that's accessible, that's visible. You want a building that's visible. You want to be able to pull in and pull out and not get in a wreck or think about getting in a wreck, you know. And I know Noel had a downfall of his location up there got to pull in and back out on.
Yeah, you can't.
I mean, but he jammed, you know.
Trust me. Yeah, trust me. I know.
He jammed with having a bat, but you know, so location's a lot to do with it, and you know, just sticking with it. I stuck with it. You know, I probably should have got out after that, like 3rd year, 4th year. You know, I probably should have left, you know, and just chalked it up and went and maybe found that pawn shop or whatever. But I just kept going at it, and it turned real good up here. So good that I needed a bigger place.
With you, it sounds like it's a lot of hunger, but it's a lot of drive. But like, I still want to know, like what's pushing you? Like, was you married at the time? Did you have kids around this time?
When I first started, I didn't have any kids, and I wasn't married when I was down here. So, but once you get that, and not so much married, but once you have that first child, there's definitely a drive that don't turn off, you know. And if you don't have that drive after your first child, well, then you need to revisit that, because you should. You wouldn't want your child to ever think back of a time that you didn't want to provide.
Over deliver for them.
You know, as your child gets older and then understands things, you know, and even if that's just overachieving in love, whatever it might be, you know, you don't have to be your own business owner, you know, and have $1 million, you know, but an abundance of love and just making sure that child's taken care of.
But what I like though is, but you don't quit though either. Like, you didn't, what was it, 2 businesses or 3 businesses that failed, right? The cell phones.
The cell phones. I had a restaurant that failed, kitchen that failed.
Well, that one didn't fail. It just didn't do as good as you wanted it to.
Right, and that one didn't do as good as I wanted it to, you know. And like I said, I probably should have left. You know, I should have pulled the door and just, you know, walked away. But I think it goes into, I was too competitive too, you know, like, because everybody banked on me failing when I opened that, you know. Everybody, the talk in the other places was, oh, he'll never last. He'll never last.
That really do something to you, huh?
Oh, that'll push you.
Because let me tell you how I relate to that. And this is about to sound crazy, but like I started a lawn care business in a wheelchair. Like, you know how many people thought they were like, what the hell is he doing? Like how,
right.
what, who, where, like what the hell? Like, you feel what I'm saying? So in my first couple 30 days, people didn't, especially how we started, it just looked it crazy. Like we started with a box truck. Like we had a box truck first, without a ramp, so you had to put slabs up the thing. Then the tractor that we had was like the old man one with the steering wheel on it. Like how we started was a mess. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, oh yeah, that ain't gonna last past. You know what I mean? But so I relate to that. You feel what I'm saying? Because and then it be. For real, it don't even be your competitors all the time. It be like your family, your friends, like, and that's who is really counting me out. Like, because when I did this, like, I'm making my transition out the streets. And honest to God, without even knowing I was making my transition, I just happened to get into it, and I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm making, it's working, it's legit, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't worried about this and I ain't worried about that, and then, once I got just a little, my fiance sent me a little email and said, we made $15,000, and it was like a short amount of time to me. It was like a couple months, but it was just like even when I was in the streets, I know I was making that kind of money, but I never got an email saying it. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh yeah, this different. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, like so I relate to that, bro.
It just fell into, none of them people that were, none of those people that I learned most of my knowledge from went to college and barely made it through high school. So.
Yeah, so that's why I be telling people, like, I never tell people, like, even the younger generation, I always direct them for school, but even with my kids in the house, like, they know I didn't make it past the 9th grade. And my one, the middle one, the middle one, straight A's, straight B's, straight A's, I should say. And I try to tell her all the time. I said, I didn't get straight A's. I got friends that did the same thing you did, straight A's. And I can promise you, they not where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I be trying to tell them, like, the straight A's, that's cool, that's nice, that's good. But that does not mean you're gonna be successful.
No, you're all right.
That does not mean you're gonna be successful. So let's talk about, so once you, so you was down here for 4 or 5 years, then once you moved up the hill,
yes,
that's when you would say you start seeing the
business probably all but about doubled within 3 months. So it was the right place, and the right location, and it really worked. The Niles community, supports a lot of their, you know what I mean? They support, and it was good to be up here in Niles, and, and it felt right, and it worked. And, but we outgrew that building within, I think we were there 6 years, and just, at first we didn't outgrow it, but as, time went on, it was getting tight in there during the busy times. We had our slower off-season times, and it wasn't, had enough room. But a lot of the times, yeah, we were packed in there. We were jammed in there.
Right. So I would say, with as long as you, Noah's been doing it with a couple years longer than you, or you've been doing it a couple years longer than him?
No, he's been doing it 35 years.
You've been doing it
15.
15. Okay, yeah, that's what makes it the 50 years.
He's the.
But he humble.
He's the king of the. So yeah, I'm just, so halfway up that hill.
For somebody that's watching this right now, because they definitely gonna see this like, damn, I want it. They look fun. They look exciting. These guys look cool. Like, what would you say to start at for somebody watching right now and they wanted to break into this industry? Because this seems like this is the industry that you end up mastering. So if you wanted to give us 3 steps right now, like what would be the 3 steps directly to get me right into this industry? Or us, excuse me.
Picking a good location.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of steps to it, to be honest. But in three,
you want to add some bonuses? We could.
okay. The three most important ones would be a location. Try not to do too much at one time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Keep it simple.
Simplicity beats complicity.
What's that?
Simplicity.
Yeah, simplicity
beats complicity.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then I guess the third thing would be to. I had to pick three. Keep your overhead low. You know, that keep your overheads low is a big one. Hire the right guys, you know, pay your guys right. You know, you want a good group of guys. Without a good group of guys, we couldn't do any of this stuff. Me and Noel could sit up there and sell all day long. We can't sit back here and put it in, you know, so your staff is big too. Make sure your staff's right, no matter what business, really. You know, make sure your staffing is proper. And good customer service. You know, I've learned some stuff from Noel, you know, that I sit back and, you know, so I sit back and watch him a lot, you know, and learn stuff still to this day. You know, as a business owner, you're always learning. I'm sure you could relate.
Yes,
There's always a lesson to be learned. There's always something new to be learned. Humble yourself. You don't know it all. I don't care who you are. You don't know it all.
Right.
And learn every day and make it fun.
Man, wow. Listen, I hope y'all taking notes, man, because he just gave y'all about 7 extra steps. So, damn, that's crazy. So, and if I could add to this, I would say follow your vision. Especially because you can't expect to start where he started at or for your shop to look like his. You might start in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
You might start in your garage, and that's okay. You might, cause y'all gonna see like the rims and whatnot, you might start buying rims off Craigslist first.
Yep.
But the key to it is to be consistent wherever you start at. So you don't gotta start at this magnitude, you don't gotta have a big business like this, you don't gotta have a big team, you don't gotta have a partner right now. Just follow your vision. If there's something you truly wanna do, I'm pretty sure you got or you don't got a garage, you got a backyard.
Mm-hmm. You might be better off starting, not to cut you off, but you might be better off to start like that, to make sure you like something before you know, once you commit, you're committed, and now you have leases and you got bills and but if you start small and make sure you like something and make sure, you know, you're going to want to do that for the next 10 years or so, 20 years, whatever it might be, however old you might be, you know.
And actually start, listen, this is another thing, and this lightweight some sauce right here. You can make more mistakes, right or wrong. If you start small in your garage or in your backyard, you can still make more mistakes than what he can afford to make and still come out on top. Not saying on top of him, but what I'm saying is you can still make some mistakes,
right.
multiple mistakes, get it right, and still come out on top.
Yeah.
Just starting small.
Yeah.
That way you learn and that way you, every little nick and cranny and detail, because like I said, even when you start to hiring people, you still want to know something. You don't want to just get to throwing people out there and hoping they know everything, because now you're going to be depending on somebody else to drive your business, and that's what you don't want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we would say start small and master it there first, and then, like he said, if you really like it, go ahead and take it to the next step. Get you a little small shop, beat that up, then, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Nobody starts at the top. You know, y'all start somewhere. You know, even the property that we're sitting in right now was, I don't know how many businesses are in this complex now, but it's a lot. And it started with a Sears and a Sears automotive building were the first 2 buildings on this whole property, and you know, they grew that. The Cafaros grew that to what this is now, and you know, with just Sears and Sears Auto.
Man, so you know how to get into into the business now. So talk about maybe startup costs. Like, what would you say, like, startup costs? Not for, remember, we talking to a smaller audience, so what would you say maybe they should probably maybe, whether they got the cash or credit, what would you say they should?
Try to use, and I know this hurts the most, but you want to try and use cash if you can. Or the SBA. The SBA has...
Small Business Administration.
They have loans that are, you know, not 10%, 9%, 7%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their loans are for, but, you know, to do SBA and stuff like that, you need a business plan. You know, these are not professional, but these are documents that you need to have on paper and to present your business correctly to get these kind of loans. They just don't go off a hope and a dream.
Right.
And then here's your check.
Right.
You know,
right.
so it's got to be, you know, a step up. It's got to have time put into it and a business plan if you're going to go that route. But it's best if you could use your own cash. In that way, there's no interest and you don't owe anybody. And if it doesn't work out, then, you know, just it's a lesson. And then you start again, you know. But that's probably the proper way to do that there.
Like I said, what would you say we recommend starting with? About $5,000, $10,000, a little less?
I mean, that's going to depend on the business, you know. If you're talking this business, or you're talking
just the audio extreme.
Detailing, $2,500 could start you up. You know, electronics, you need a little bit more in the stock room, you know, to make that happen. And chemicals, that product's more than chemicals, you know. So you might need more, $5,000, $10,000. You know, you can't, you know, this is an impulse. A lot of this stuff that I sell here is impulse buy. And when they got it in their pocket is when they want it. And if you're like, I got to order that, it'll be here in 3 days.
Right.
Well, they just went and got a hoodie or Nikes or, you know, or whatever, something else. They went to the club, you know, they went out to dinner and that money's spent. So, you know, you lost that because you didn't have that sitting there ready to go when they wanted it, you know. So there could be more money. You gotta have a little deeper pockets if you want to do the electronics. You know, when they say it takes money to make money, it really does take money to make that money.
Right.
That's why I say, you know, more simpler, you know, like a detailing, you know.
Start right there.
That's soap and water, wax.
Start right there.
You know, and maybe get yourself, you know, knowing cars that way, you know, and then learn more, then maybe you could start tinting tail lights.
I was just about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, and then just grow and you know, and then maybe you could try your hand at window tinting. I mean, the odds on you being a good tinter are against you. I've only met so many tinters in my life, but if you know somebody that tints, that's when you approach them and you get them in there with you, and now you're doing detailing and tint and two forms of revenue, and then maybe you start hooking up systems and, you know, and you balance it out then.
He's suggesting you start maybe just doing like small details, then small tint, like little tail lights, he said, then try to get to the windows, which he's suggesting if you ain't good at that, then find somebody that's good with that, partner with them, and then once you got that mastered, then work your way into the electronic, hooking up systems and whatnot. And then probably you might want to try to start having a little bit of inventory on hand for when for like he just said, this is going to be a more impulse buying clients you're dealing with. So listen, how important is it to know your customer? Let's talk about that real quick.
That's super
because that's for you to just say that.
Right.
You know your client, and you got your client down pat.
Yes, yeah. You need to know your client. When your busy time is, you need to know your business, just like you need to know your client.
Right.
When the busy time is, when the busy time isn't, you need to know your customer. When, you know, what's the season? What are they going to buy? When are they going to buy? How much are they going to buy? And you're not going to know the formula to that perfect, but you need to have a good grasp on it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So.
Right. And you would just start to see, you would recognize a pattern. You would start to see it within, you know, and once you start to see that pattern, that's how 15 years, he get to identify certain stuff and understand his clients a little bit better. How do you and Noels meet? And how do you guys become, who on whose radar, who approached who?
We battled for
Trust me, I know.
10 years probably, and he always won the battle. He was bigger. He had more
You a
stuff. He
real
had more
man for that,
knowledge.
bro. You a real man for that. Real, like, you know what I mean? Cats don't, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, he won that battle, but I still fought every day. I never gave up. And I always just acted like I was winning that battle, but really, he won that battle. And it got to a point, I think 35 years, he sees the finish line probably, 15 years, the finish line's a little farther away maybe for me than it is for him. But I think we were doing the same thing in the same town, paying 2 electrics, 2 rents, 2 gases, 2 this, 2, and there was a training in Indianapolis that we both went to. Because if I needed a part throughout that 10 years, Noel would sell me that part, or if he needed a part over that 10 years, we would sell stuff to each other, and sometimes we'd lie to each other and say, no, we don't got that.
Wow. That's sweet.
Right.
I like this, bro.
It's just a little friendly thing. But most of the time, we sold back and forth. And so during my trips down to get a part or whatever, we'd talk, we'd hang out. And I just, I had a respect for him, He's the OG, so you got to have respect for that. And we went to a training in Indiana, and I said, man, you always hear these stories, and I was like, man, that dude's real cool, real nice, real cool, genuine, and you always hear things on the streets of how somebody is, but until you really know them, you should never go off that. You should never go off of, I heard this, I heard that, because until you know somebody, you don't know them. And man, he's just a genuine dude. And I said, man, I could really work with this guy. I said, hey, there's a place in Boardman that's for sale. You want to go look at it? And let's bail. Let's get out of Trumbull County. Let's go to Boardman. Tap in out there. And that place was just, it needed work. It was expensive. So I said, the whole time we were looking at that, I had this deal kind of cooking with the mall on the back burner. And I approached them after Sears left. It became a shop.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I approached them a couple times. Like, man, I'd love to move my business down there. And
Right.
We met a few times, and what they wanted and what I wanted to pay were just. But I thought, man, now if I get Noel, what they want is a little easier. Because now he was already paying that, I'm already paying this. Now we could offer this, where we were hoping it might have been cheaper, but if it's the same money and we get this beautiful property on the mall parking lot.
You mind sharing with, you don't got to get specific if you don't want, you mind sharing with like something like this cost?
Well, I could tell you our electric bill's about on average $1,500.
That's high.
So, that's a bill, I'll let you in on. The gas in the winter is about $1,000. Okay. And rent's a lot, I don't want to put that business out there, but it's expensive, but I'm talking expensive coming from a smaller shop up the street, now you're on premium. This is premium for Trumbull County, this is premium property. But it still made sense for us. What we were both paying to what we're paying here only made sense. And I said, would you want to join me here? Because this building's too big for just me and my guys. We would have never, it wouldn't have been proper. It would have been understaffed. It wouldn't have, but so with both of us combining though, and it just works out. He's good at things I couldn't stand. I'll be honest right now, I don't like selling wheels and tires. He loves it.
right.
So as soon as the wheel and tire, I'm looking for a set of wheels and tires. This is Noel. He's the, and there's stuff that he gives to me like that, and so it's not wheels and tires, but like anything detailing or, some of the other, I'll go down there and talk to Greg and, so.
Pretty much like this. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I approached Noah for this. Okay. That's really my first time meeting you.
Okay.
He's like, no, go talk to Greg about it. So yep.
Yeah, I got weaknesses and strengths, and where I'm weak, he's strong, and you know, and where, you know, vice versa. So, vice versa.
So, I probably got like 2 or 3 more questions for you, and I know you got to go.
That's cool. No, you know, I'll be flat out honest. One of my weaknesses is I'm camera shy.
Straight up?
Yeah, I don't.
Man, bro, you doing amazing.
I'm so uncomfortable, you know.
Bro, no, you doing amazing, bro.
Thank you. You know.
No, I'm not even just saying this. My line, bro, you doing it. Like, trust me, we done had some cats on here that was camera shy, and like for real, we didn't. We like, no, we can't even use that. No, we can't even use. Nah, so you doing good, bro. Real talk.
A lot of it has to do with the cause. You know, what you're doing for other people that's amazing. You know, help, like I said, most people keep their stuff a secret. You know, I'm not helping nobody. I'm not telling nobody. You know, I'm not afraid if somebody wants to open another audio store or a tint shop. You know what I mean? It's, you know, and it sounds like you're not afraid if somebody opens another lawn care company right next to you.
Right.
You know, our world should be more about helping people out than kicking people down.
Right. And I appreciate that too, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So I was doing a little bit of homework. It said the 2 main driving forces of this business is window tinting and car
remote start. No?
No, it said no window tinting and car stereos, but it said around this time is when the remote starting.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
And again, that falls back to knowing your business and knowing your customers. You know, I think we've placed already this year. We spent about $15,000 in inventory for remote starters. You know, it's coming in, it's piling up. A lot of it's already left. You know, your early birds came and got it. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of cars are coming with it, so you know that makes it tougher on us. You know, these coming right from Chevy with an app, you know, for free. I mean, who's going to want to come see me? But there are still car manufacturers that's not a free service. A lot of the ones that work on like factories, if you have a check engine light, won't remote start anymore. Where mine will start through a check engine light, you know. And maybe it's designed that way to where, well, you can't have this remote start unless you go back to the dealer or get your car fit. You know, I don't know if it's designed that way on purpose, but so we get those, you know, because sometimes those check engine lights are $1,000 for something stupid that your car's running fine.
Right.
But it wants this emissions thing to work perfect. So we get, you know, fallout from that. We'll get that. And some people want longer range. Our units do 1,500 feet, 3 miles, things like that. And factories do from here to my front door, you know.
Not far.
Not far. So, but we're still plugging along, you know. One day will remote starts be extinct in aftermarket vehicles? Maybe, you know, but.
So when you start just saying that right there, like, because evidently that's a part of what's generating revenue, whether it's, you know, seasonal or not, it's still something y'all pivot towards.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say in the next 5 years, it's extinct. What would you do to replace that revenue stream?
Well, you go to trade shows and stuff and you look at what the new products are. You know, you network with other shop owners. Hey, you know, what are you doing? You know, you know, and people share. You know, maybe your direct doesn't share, like your Mahoney and Trumbull County guys ain't going to share. But when you go to a thing in Vegas or Indianapolis, Indiana, or, you know, in their shops, they don't care about telling you their secrets because they're miles away. And you just, you know, you find that next niche, you know, and maybe you hustle harder on the detailing end. You know, there's a lot of new exciting products coming out with the ceramic coatings and the coatings, you know, that we're getting into. And you're just going to have to replace that product. You know, you can't not put that money back into your hands or business. You know, you got to find a way to replace that money.
That kind of just led me to my next question. This kind of like a trending business too. Like, it's kind of like you guys kind of got to keep up with the trends with car systems is coming out, with Ram, with new 4G Auto is coming out, with new Ashanti is coming out. Like, who is keeping up with all that stuff? Is that a you thing or that a more nose thing?
That's just us going to trade shows, really. You know,
okay.
you hit your SEMAs, you hit your Knowledge Fest, they call the other one, and you look and see what's coming out, what looks hot, you know. Also, your vendors are chasing you down. Hey, we got this, we got that. You're reading emails. You're not just hitting the trash button. You're reading the email. You know, you're working when you're not working, and that's a downfall about owning your own businesses. I'm answering Yelps at night. I'm answering Facebook at night. I'm answering website at night. You know, it don't stop, you know, even when you're off, because here I'm a little too busy. Sometimes I get blessed and I could do it while I'm at work, but sometimes when work's too busy, you're doing that on your off time. But, you know, answering your emails, reading new products, reading about them, and you know, evolving, keep evolving.
Well, before I met you when you was first walking out, right? But my second time seeing you, I seen you sweeping. No. It raised my respect level. Like, if my respect level was here for you, it went up here for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Because it's like, you know what I mean? Because for real, bro, people get to where I got staff, I got this person, and I got this authority. It's like I can just put my feet up. But that motivates me. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, you know, no matter what size your business is, don't be too big. Don't ever be too big to pick up the broom.
Yeah, no. Like I said,
for it just lets me know, like, it could have been a toilet. It could have been mopping a coffee stain up. Like, it just lets me know what type of person and it lets me know this is why you is where you at right now today.
Yeah, you can't expect, because you got 8 guys working here that, you know, and nor do I always like to do it this way. I never ask my employees to do anything I wouldn't do.
You and me both.
Ever. You know.
Unless there's something standing up. But other than that, but yeah, you and me both.
But toilets, you know, we didn't have a cleaning service when we first opened. I'd let Noel take the sales floor, and I was hitting the toilets, I was mopping the floors, and
come on, man.
You know, I stripped and waxed all those floors before we even moved in. You know, before there was, you know, I did all that and hire a company. You know what I mean? You got to pay for all that. You know,
put that money right back into the business.
Yeah, right back in. You know, it gives you more revenue for this, more revenue for that. You know, and we're a little busy now. We do have a company that comes, but you know, if in between that, if there's something spilled or if there's something in the parking lot, you want to pick up your trash around your, you know, I go to a lot of these stores and I see overflowing cans and trash blowing through, and
cigarette butts.
Tacky.
Come on, man.
You know, it's tacky, and so you want your business to be presented cleanliness and nice, and you know, it'll pay off in the long run. That little bit of investment. 5 minutes in your parking lot, 3 minutes sweeping up that little pile out there, you know, it pays off.
And it make other people respect your business when they see, you know what, let me put that cigarette butt in my pocket.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Oh, they don't do that here.
They don't do that here. You know,
right.
You know what, I ain't gonna throw this pop can out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was gonna throw it out, but you know, I'm gonna put it.
Right.
So yeah, it just lets everybody know, you know, this is their standards is here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so 2 more questions for you. Where do you see the business at in the next 5 years?
Us here in the next 5 years?
Yeah, where you see y'all at in the next 5 years? Or hold on, you know, I apologize. Before you answer that one, that's what I was thinking about. Would you in those, or have you guys ever considered? Because I remember you said something about Boardman. So let's just say, would you guys ever consider like having a location here, then having another location somewhere? Is that something somewhere in there?
It's been discussed, you know. It's a hard business to have multiple locations, you know.
You the guy for it, bro. Trust me, you the guy for it.
It would probably involve one of us leaving here to operate the number 2, you know, and then somebody stepping up from the back to fill my shoes, and me hiring somebody else up front to. But it could be a thing, you know. It could be. I'm not opposed to it, you know, for sure. Sometimes bigger's better, sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm learning that now.
I guess it would just have to feel right.
Right.
It would have to feel right. It would have to come real natural and be like, oh, this is a no-brainer situation. I always like situations where it's like, we'd be stupid not to do this, you know, and that's the right situation.
See, you taught me something. Don't do it unless you, well, I ain't gonna say don't do it, but almost don't do it unless you feel stupid for not doing it.
No, I look at something 18 ways before I make a decision. You know, you never want to make a fast one. Always think about it. You know, what could go wrong? What can go wrong? What can go right? What could really go right? You know, and then base your decision off that.
All right, so now, where do you see the business at in the next 5 years?
Well, I see it growing. You know, I see the growth from when we even started here and we were already in business, you know, and I see a whole new, neither of us detailed in our shops, although we both had the knowledge, you know, but neither of us did that, and we opened that up, you know, and that grew, and that brings in a whole nother line of customers, because now you're bringing in some older folks that can't, you know, maybe they can't clean their own car as much anymore, and you're also bringing in some other people that just don't want to clean their car, you know, and you meet new people that way, and then that rolls into a rim sale, a remote start sale. Their daughter came and picked them up here, never heard of your business before, and now she knows, and you know, so it just keeps rolling as long as you keep doing a good job, making your customers happy, you know, doing the most you can for them, and making sure everybody leaves happy as they can. And let me be the first to tell you, not everybody's going to be happy all the time.
Right.
And when that happens to me, man, I take it home for days. One thing with one customer, I'll think about it for a week. You know, what I shoulda, coulda. And, you know, and it helps me for the next time, I guess, you know, taking it like that. So some people I meet, they just brush that off. They're normal by 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? By 5 o'clock, I'm just starting to think about it. You know, like, oh man.
Right.
So I don't like to lose any customers. I only like to gain customers. But sometimes it's hard, you know, and the world we live in now has changed a lot. It's a hateful world from what it used to be. You know, we always had hate and stuff, but man, it's like, if you just get, even just out on the street here, you get close to stuff, too close, man, they're ready to pull you over and shoot you, kill you, beat you up, pull you out of your car. Like, things are nuts, you know? So it's tough, because not everybody comes in a good mood into your business, you know? And you learn that, and you just fight through it and retain as much as you can and make people as happy as you can. And some people are going to leave and they're not going to be happy, and they're going to blast you online. And that's another tool they have now that, you know, really hurts, because I had some people, you know, they get you online and they never even called you back to tell you did it.
Right.
That's the worst. You don't call me back and say I even made a mistake, but you put it right onto Google. And, you know, so you got to watch, because they'll hit you a few different ways now. And that's an easy way for them to do that, you know.
Well, I know y'all done service probably thousands of clients. I like to call them clients.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you got a couple hundred 5-star reviews on Google, so that speaks a lot. I think it was like 215 I seen or something when I was, you know, doing a little bit of homework. So that speaks a lot. Like,
right.
When you got them type of reviews and people could say, "Oh, I came here and they got me in and out," or "I came here and had a great experience." Like I was reading them,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So
I read them too.
Yeah, so pretty much
about the bad ones.
Yeah, so pretty much, you know, everything you were saying is pretty much accurate, and that's good though, because when you read those, like you said, not only do you sweep it up under the rug, it's like, damn, how can I? You feel what I'm saying?
Make it better.
I wish the client would have brought it to me, but now that I see it, if I ever have an interaction with them again, I make sure it's 10 times better.
Right. Yeah, chances though, and it's crazy, because somebody, and I'm sure you've seen these memes on Facebook, you know, McDonald's can screw up your order 100 times, but you go back to McDonald's.
Come on, man.
But one time, a window tint don't come out perfect or something, and I'm crucified, and you never come back.
Or I cut your yard wrong, or didn't edge it right. Yeah,
right, maybe you miss a little something. I mean, we're human.
Yeah.
You know, we're very human, so mistakes happen, but, you know, as long as you try to make it right and reach out, I always try to reach out to the customer, call them, you know, and if they don't want to talk, I get it, you know, that's fine. But I try to learn from the mistake, you know, and everybody learns from, when there's a mistake like that, it don't just stay up front, it comes to the back and gets discussed about too.
That's sweet.
You know.
That's sweet, I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that one too.
Yeah, everybody needs to know in the whole company, you know, hey, even if you didn't do that car, even if you didn't even know that car was in our shop,
Right.
this is what happened, and we want to make sure that it don't happen again.
Right. Last one for you, Greg. What does trust, relationships, accountability principles mean to you? You can start with trust. What does trust mean to you?
Trust means to me, that's a good question. Trust means to me that I could leave somewhere and know that something's taken care of, and not have to worry that somebody might not do something wholeheartedly or half-heartedly or, you know, flat out do something they shouldn't.
Right.
It is trust, you know, and it means a lot. I mean, I haven't been perfect my whole life, but you could ask a lot of people, you know, my name, and there's no, oh, that dude scams and rips off people. You don't hear that, you know.
No.
But I know that it's like your credit score. You only get one.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? We only got one name, so I've tried my whole life to, you know, if there was I ever owed somebody, make it right. If it, you know, never dog people, never get people, never, you know, and even if you're just flat out, you know, and maybe in life you borrowed money from somebody and just flat out can't pay them. Well, hey, what could I do right now till I get you paid? You need some help with something? You need me to, you know, and just make it right. And that's trust, and to me, in relationship, you know, and just solid people.
Yeah, you pretty much all about, so you just tackle relationship too. That was in a relationship. I just want to add on to the relationship piece. I mean,
that was almost both of those probably into one, you know.
And the for me to add on, pretty much what you and Nose is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had to have that relationship, or no, y'all had to have that relationship, then built the trust for y'all to do this. So
yeah, we didn't even know each other like that,
right.
You know, to even, you know, but it's at some point in life, you know, you know, you gotta have trust for other people, you know, or else you could never grow. You know, if you don't trust people and just don't trust people, then you're always gonna be worried, and, you know, and
find ways to build with people. Like you said, it took y'all a couple times, a couple trade shows, a couple of this and that and the third. It wasn't just like, hey, Nose.
right.
Come on. Like, nah, it took a couple of times. Like, then, like you said, and I'm pretty sure Nose seeing you be competitive with him, but still stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I don't know if he probably said this to you, but that probably would make him say, you know what, come on, let's do it. Like, damn, I seen you, trust me, I seen you competing with me too this whole time. And I knew that, yeah, I might got a little bit more experience than you, or whatever you might want to call it than you. But the thing is that you didn't quit and you didn't let me distract you or disturb you from, I want to partner with you. Like, it'd be little stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would make somebody want to be like, yeah, come on, yeah, hell yeah, I want to partner with you. But let's talk about accountability.
Accountability is, you know, accepting your mistakes. You know, I'm the first to say, man, I screwed up. You know, yeah. I know people personally that flat out make mistakes, but yet make excuses. And I mean, that's just wasting time. You know, nah, I screwed up. You know, it's my fault. You know, let's move forward. Let's make it right. Let's, you know, what's got to go on here, you know, and that's an easy fix. Accountability is an easy fix. Not a lot of people want to accept responsibility for mistakes or things, but you got to be accountable for what you do in life, you know, whether it's business or just how you treat, you know, you got to be accountable. And, you know, the best way is just to be genuine and, you know, try your hardest and be genuine. And then that's easier for people to forgive you as well.
Yeah.
If you come off that way.
Right.
You know, like, man, I tried my hardest, or, you know, then people are like, you know, he really did, you know, and they're not as mad and hold you accountable, you know. It might be an easier fix for you at that point.
Principles.
Yeah, principles. I guess our principle would just be to try and make sure every car comes out with what we sold you know, sold them this and delivered this. You know, it would be a principle, you know. And make people happy. I guess that would be our principle then. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I seen that. I seen that too. That was one of y'all biggest concerns y'all want.
Thank you for helping me through that one there.
good.
Yeah, the principal one threw me off, last question too, right?
Yep.
You got me. But yeah, principle for us would be just, making sure that car gets outside on a timely manner and is to the perfection that we could do as human beings to it, and, deliver to the customer a good product. But, things...
See, that's a principle. Making sure the customer is delivered a good product.
Right.
Because a lot of people could be like, you know what? This cheaper, so let me just get them this. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I've learned my lesson trying to do stuff like that too. Buying the cheaper this, buying the cheaper that, and then in the long run, it costs you more, or you got somebody mad because you tried to go that route. And no, we try. Things happen though. Time's never a guarantee. Like, if you told me to go to Walmart and get you this list, I could probably tell you within 5 minutes of how long it's going to take me. But when you get in a car that maybe something ain't what it should have been when it was brought to you or something, it's hard to give those, time estimates. And so we fall short sometimes because we think it'll take this amount of time and it takes longer. And, but one thing we don't do, if I ever say, hey, your radio's $100 to put in and it takes us longer, is we never, you got to pay a little bit more money. We don't, that's not us, so you'll never leave like, man, they got me, you know what I mean? They told me 100, they were, like you hear horror stories coming from, shops sometimes and dealerships and whatnot, and not all of them.
Right, no, I get you. Trust me.
There's a lot of good shops out there, but there's some that mar up and get people on edge and alert, like in life. Like, I went here and they said $75 and it was $800, when I was done. And, so, and that's one thing that we absolutely, do not do. So, yeah, we will be, sometimes we lose, gave you a price and, or maybe you break even. And so don't always think in business you're going to make money either, because there's, we lose sometimes, we break even sometimes, but you hope that you did a good enough job, that customer comes back and then their friend drops them off in senior shop, and then their mom comes because the son and
that's where you winning at.
That's where you're winning.
Yeah.
That's where you're winning.
Man, y'all, this has been an amazing interview, Greg. Listen, camera shy or not, brother, you did amazing, brother. Hey, listen, before we get out of here, tell the people how they can get in touch with you, though. Facebook, Instagram, location. Like, we're trying to get some people here.
Eastwood Mall. Everybody knows where that's at. Niles, Ohio. Old Sears Automotive Building out front. You can find us. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. Website, autotoysohio.com. I think that's about it. Oh, and the phone number, 330-369-AUTO, 330-369-TOYS. So we both had a unique number.
What is the Facebook and Instagram? Is it Auto Toys too?
Yeah, Auto Toys.
On
Auto
Facebook
Toys.
and Instagram?
Yep.
All right, so y'all know how to get in touch with them. Ask for Greg or Noels. Man, again, brother, I definitely appreciate you, brother.
No problem, we appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all in the trap. Thank you.
And if there's one thing I'd like to add about everything we spoke about here today, it's God's impact on my life and how it helped me through some hard times, and how it grounded me and helped me to love other people and respect other people and treat everybody the same. And I wanted to close with that.